Verizon customer service is so bad, it's almost like they are staffed by the competition trying to get you to switch over. Like if you told me that everybody in the Verizon store was on Ryan Reynolds' payroll to get you to secretly switch to Mint Mobile, I'd believe it. Today on the Tom Kelly Show, Steve Berger and I are talking at Roosevelt Field, the Long Island Mall, the good mall, the good mall.
The busy mall.
The busy mall. And you know what? There's your show tease. We have no idea. We're going to do Long Island topics. Let's start the show.
The Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
Here we go. Content warning, spoiler alert. Here come the judge, because I'm taking you to food court. You are experiencing the Tom Kelly Show. Yeah, I'm using jokes from a year ago. I'm okay with that. That was your joke. We're at the Roosevelt Field Mall, and I'm literally about to go to Maine. And I'll tell the story. Steve has been producing a lot of my most of my Instagram content for the last 5 to 6 weeks. So if you think I've suddenly gotten funny, here's why. And if actually nobody thinks I suddenly suck, except for maybe one guy.
I'm sure one guy.
But back to us. So one of the things we've done right, two things. So one, what I have found fascinating about the internet is you never know which is going to be the one to take off. There have been a couple of masterpieces Steve has produced, cinematic with AI shots. Drone shots, outdoor footage, they've done fine. And then there's one clip of Steve from the podcast pooping on Levittown, Long Island, and it went viral. I got death threats on it. I'm like, but Steve said it, and I got the death threats.
My name's not on the podcast.
I know, it's a nice feeling. I'm the one who wanted to be a narcissist and said, Steve, let's keep this all under the Tom Kelly Show brand. I love that on days where we're good, and on the days where the angry guys from Levittown are calling, it's like, all right, that was Steve. But anyway, we're at the mall. We've been recognized only once, which is honestly also very humbling. And I think the goal is to, Steve has been helping me out because you're what?
Out of work?
Yeah, out of...
Well, being taken over by AI?
Yeah, well, Steve is a visual effects artist in TV. And yeah, AI is getting scarier. In fact, you're going to see, probably by what I'd say December, this podcast will be young Steve and young Tom Kelly. Because it's coming.
Why not?
Honestly,
Or we could just be like a teddy bear and a koala.
Actually, could that be adorable?
I'm sure we could do it.
What would your avatar be?
I don't know. Giraffe? No, that wouldn't frame very well.
Okay, a giraffe.
It's tough to frame a giraffe.
A giraffe and a koala. I love how Steve keeps calling me a koala. So anyway,
it just seems to fit.
Do you think I'm cuddly?
No. Koalas just look cute at first, but they're really mean.
That's a great way to sum me up, though. Cute at first and really mean. I always had a panda bear. My mother's sister gave me a panda bear when I was a kid, when I was born. And I still have that teddy bear in my apartment. I'd rather be a panda than a koala, but I like that. They're really cute until you find out they're mean. So a couple of fun ones. Steve took me, well, I guess I paid for this one. We went to our first bubble tea place, which I'm sure we have some video clips of. And I think we'll walk around the mall. What's funny about this mall is thriving.
Yes, the only one.
Like every other mall on Long Island seems like a ghost mall. Steve got me to get my first, we went to the boba tea place. They don't give you like a full plastic cover. They give you like this, thin sticker thing.
Yes.
And then you're supposed to assault it. Yes. This seems like a guy like me would have it pop up in my face. A cuddly koala bear like me. You don't have to do it that hard.
The straw has a sharp edge on it.
By the way, insert sexual joke there. You don't have to do it that hard, baby. Here we go. And see, like right there.
There you go.
That's the mess I was afraid of, right there.
Slob.
And I didn't even do it that hard. So I tried the bubbles.
You gotta go to the bottom for the bubbles. The bobas.
And I think that was just ice.
There's no ice. That was your boba.
Ooh. No. That was the boba, and wow. It does. It pops in your mouth. Honestly, I haven't had anything ever explode in my mouth this much and bring me such joy.
Nothing ever?
Oh, no, well.
No one?
Maybe. You know what's funny? I'm enjoying being sexually ambiguous on some of these videos. Because there's been a couple of jokes we've made. And I'm trying to remember what. Where I think one was said, you were there for the joke. You were not in this video. I did one from the Jones Beach Air Show, where I said, I matched with that lifeguard on Bumble. I matched with that girl lifeguard on Bumble. And then I matched with that guy lifeguard on Grindr. It's an easy hack joke. But then there's a couple of people on TikTok where the video went viral. Did anyone else hear his confession? Is it weird that I podcast at a louder volume for you? You get self-conscious. But I feel like that's the problem. The gift and curse of podcasting in public is I feel our energy comes down. Like, I think the future... So we were talking about this before.
Because I'm so high energy to begin with?
You're a little lower energy, and you're a little more nervous when I'm higher energy. But it's funny. I think, kind of what's funny is when I'm with you, I have someone to entertain. And I think my energy as a comedian is a little better. And do you agree with that?
I'm your straight man.
You're my straight man, and when I'm with you, and maybe even other people sometimes, I'm playful. I'm less self-conscious. When it's funny, I see you laugh, and when it's not, I know to keep moving. Yeah. That said, what's funny is when you do it in public, there is that fear of, oh my God, security's going to come at any second. Oh, can I tell you a funny story about the Tesla parking lot? I think, I hopefully no one will get in trouble for this one.
Did you draw swastikas on the Teslas?
No. And Elon's a hero. No, he's not. I don't want to say that either. I have no opinion on Elon. But if you go out to I think it's the South parking lot.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay. Usually they'll have like 20 Teslas. There's got to be 500. Minimum. Only 3 Cybertrucks. But like 500 Model Ys, I guess, is the big one.
Yep.
No X-Wings. I don't know if they make that one anymore. But I've never seen so many Teslas in my life. And there was that movie last year, I think it was with Nicole Kidman.
Yes.
Where the robot Teslas started invading, and somehow they wound up in the Hamptons.
Yep.
This is where it begins. Like if I were, like I had
the mall is ground zero for the Teslas attacking.
We make the joke, but I have this vision in my head of just a hacker, not Elon, because he's a great man, but I have a vision of a hacker just going there with his iPad, pressing a button, and then everything just sort of, the headlights all come on at the same time nefariously. And I think it starts here. Or it means all you people protesting Elon, your work is having an effect. See, you know what's funny? You make the joke about vandalizing Elon's cars, and by no means do I encourage that at all. But it does say something about the political area we are, that you can leave that many Teslas without offense. And it says something about our politics that nobody has done anything wrong. Especially this mall at Roosevelt Field. This is the mall where people bring the guns. Like right over there. Like actually I have that video of mine went viral. I did a stitch. There was a gunfight literally 3 feet away from us. Like around Christmas I did that video. Right over there. 3 feet away. And now there's a nice old lady enjoying a boba tea and a line for the Chick-fil-A.
And the Wahlburgers.
Surprisingly tasty.
I've never had one.
It's a hamburger, but it's higher. It's a little bit nicer than McDonald's. And that's all you need.
So let's talk about your toxic trait that I found out about today. That
I have a toxic trait.
You have a toxic trait.
First of all, I cringe at even having that word associated with it.
You think you're smarter than the GPS. You don't trust the GPS, so you'll go your own way because you're smarter than the AI.
That was my toxic trait. Then I became too reliant on it, and I swear AI is screwing with me. So to your point, for a good year or two, Waze and Google have been sending me from Long Island to my Upper West Side apartment, either through New York City on the Queensboro Bridge, or it makes me pay the $16 toll to go up the Throgs Neck or Whitestone Bridge and across the Cross Bronx Expressway. Which, if you are over 45, the Cross Bronx Expressway was a dangerous place to drive in the 70s and 80s, and it's becoming so again today. By no means, not nearly as bad, but in the 70s,
But you could buy some mango slices while you're stopped in traffic.
So what's weird is, and this is where I believe it's all crime is a gateway for other crime, or all bad behavior is a bad behavior, gateway to the Cross Bronx Expressway in the 70s was a place where you would find cars burned out on the side of the expressway. If you got a flat tire and you had to walk away, because again, no cell phones, if you had to walk away from your car to get roadside assistance, you'd find your car on cinder blocks and all 4 tires would be gone by the time you got back. And my Uncle Rich used to say he would only drive on the Cross Bronx Expressway with his friend Joe Conway, who was an FBI agent and who was always armed. And eventually New York City got better, Bloomberg and Giuliani, blah, blah, blah. And then with the migrant crisis, people who were from other countries started selling fruit on the side of the expressway. You're in traffic and you don't want people hanging out on the side of the expressway.
Who buys the highway fruit? Who buys the traffic fruit?
So I have.
No, you haven't.
I have on multiple occasions while complaining about it. Because I'm hungry and in traffic. There is
Did
a market.
you buy the traffic churros?
No, I won't buy traffic churros. I will not buy baked goods while in traffic. But I will buy, actually, and I'm not proud of this, but if I'm hungry and it's hot, I have bought traffic mangoes, especially when I'm on a diet. Okay? Now, I'm not proud of this, Steve, but I have done it. But there's the problem. Then
You know why you buy the traffic mangoes?
Why?
Because you don't listen to Apple Maps and you end up in traffic.
Oh, I'm going back to that. So then you have on the Cross Bronx Expressway, homeless guys. Now, the drug guys are now, but now they're marching in the middle. And when there's traffic, it's scary. But then when traffic is picking up and they're still in the middle, it's dangerous for me and it's dangerous for them. And nobody's policing it. Back to the GPS now. I promise you, the AI revolution is coming, and the first warning sign is...
They put you in traffic? AI's after you. AI's after my jobs, not after your traffic patterns.
Okay, I disagree. Either I'm doing something wrong, or... either I am doing something wrong, or AI is screwing with me. Because I now have had this happen on 2 phones. First thing that the AI has been doing when I'm going to New York City is it'll tell me to pay the $20 toll to go over the Throgs Neck Bridge. Then it will send me to pay another $20 toll to cross the Triborough Bridge to save 3 minutes. First problem, that's where I'm smart. Second thing that's been happening is I'll be on 45th Street in Manhattan, and it will give me directions as if I were still on 148th Street. And I had a witness, and again, now there's moments where...
No, I will admit, the GPS in New York City is terrible. And you're dripping all over yourself now.
Ah, damn it. There goes the next video. By the way, watch for this stain in all of today's viral videos. Keep going. So anyway.
Yeah.
And I blame the boba tea mess. I blame the cover.
Yeah,
So
the GPS in Manhattan is terrible sometimes. It just has no clue. But once you get out of Manhattan, you got to follow GPS.
Okay. I'm not opposed to it. But Waze has been fudging with me. Messing with me to a level that makes me think it's trying to kill me. I swear, I was up in the Bronx. I was up in Inwood, which is really northern Manhattan. Argue about that later. And I thought I was crazy because I spend a lot of time alone. The only reason I want a significant other or more friends right now is just to prove that I am not going senile. I'm being gaslit by myself and the AI. I swear to God, I was with my friend on 205th Street, roughly, and it was giving me directions incorrectly, and I had a witness. Krista Armstrong, she's an architect.
So along those lines, said this years ago. So when you do your GPS directions, it says, do you want to take side streets? Do you want to pay tolls? There should be a setting to keep you out of bad neighborhoods. Because I've taken the GPS directions and ended up being like, ooh, I'm glad I got a new car that's not going to break down around here.
Yeah.
So but I guess that would be not PC to have that setting.
I am sure I pressed a button Well, and then the next one is what makes it a bad neighborhood, Steve? What makes it a bad neighborhood? Is it because
Crime.
yeah, I mean now, a neighborhood that just says this guy doesn't look like he. Actually, that's the button. That should have a this guy doesn't look like he belongs here button. That's what it needs. Back to you here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in this weird spot of I've had enough happen with my GPS in the last month that I've stopped trusting. And they're right. It'll say, Tom, here you go. And then there have been a couple of times where I didn't trust it, and then I see why it did that.
Exactly. The AI's smarter than you, Tom.
No, AI as a whole is smarter than me, but not individual places. ChatGPT is smarter than me. Google VO, you called it? Better AI artist than I am. Not putting you in that category. I could go down the list, but certain things are still very basic. I'm going to say, in fact, this may come up in a bit. I bought a new iPhone and a new Apple Watch, and it turned into 10 days of customer support. Screw you, Verizon, but not Chalia at the Verizon in Carl Place. We'll talk about that in a minute. Back to me. AI customer support at Verizon is not.
Well, I'll just say fuck Verizon because I spent 2 weeks trying to fix my son's iPhone and we don't even have Verizon, but it was Verizon's fault. Long story. Not going to go into it. Fuck Verizon.
I have a story like that too, where they were charging in, and part of this is my father. My father writes a handwritten letter to Verizon every 6 months, demanding they send him a bill with every phone call he's made. Because that's the cell phone plan he's on from 1998. God bless. Now, my father still believes in printed bills, and here's where he's right. Part of my problem was, the big problem was I pay for cellular service on the watch. And I wanted to have phone call forwarding from the phone when the phone's not, when the phone's turned off to ring on my watch. Had that for years. At some point it stopped working. I couldn't figure out why. Turns out Verizon's been charging me for 2 Apple Watches and forwarding to 2 phone calls. Now, because this often works on Bluetooth, this may have been broken for 2 years and I don't know it. So anyway, they have been charging me for more Apple Watches. And but I spend $2,000 on a phone, another $500 on this, whatever the costs are. I'm close to that. I couldn't get it to activate in the Apple Store. Went upstairs to the Verizon in the Roosevelt Field Mall, to which the man who works at the Verizon in the Roosevelt Field Mall said, well, I'm not making money off of that, just call 611. That's your Verizon store. I know it's a privately owned store, but the manager of the Verizon store in Roosevelt Field said, I am not making money off this activation, go dial 611. And then he got mad, so my way to spite him was to call 611 from the store, and you could just tell him, you don't have to do that here. You don't have to do that here.
I could do 3 podcasts about how Verizon has fucked me over the years. I'll never deal with them again.
Okay, so I'm in a toxic relationship. What made you make the leap out?
I don't remember what specifically. They fucked me so bad, I said no more.
Okay, and what do you have now?
AT&T.
See, I had
But I switched back when it was still singular. That's when Verizon fucked me so bad. I switched to singular, and then AT&T bought singular, and blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Speed to the end of the story. AT&T doesn't work near my mom's house. I don't know. So, so here's the funniest one with this Roosevelt Field thing. So then, after literally 10 hours of support online with Verizon, where they had machines, the AI customer service, basically, you'll call 611. They won't give you a real person. Then they'll give you a link to do a chat bot. And the chat bot will say things like, I'm sorry, we're busy. Verizon has so many great offers right now that we're overwhelmed with customers. You're jamming that into a tech support thing? That's not a real person.
I'll go back when we still had landlines. So we had the landline, the internet, and the cell phones all on one bill. And it was Verizon. And the bill would come in the mail, because we still had mail. And I would literally have anxiety opening the envelope because I knew it was going to be an hour-and-a-half call that they fucked something up. Every single month, I'd spend an hour-and-a-half minimum on the phone.
Yeah. So the big funny ending to my story is, I come back, the big resolution after 7 hours of support with Apple blaming Verizon. And I just had a feeling there was something wrong with Verizon. And Verizon blaming Apple.
Yep.
A person at Apple said, why don't you return the watch? And see, actually no, a person at Verizon said, return the watch and I'll call you back in 2 days. She never called back in 2 days. But I took her advice, returned the watch, and her line was, and the Apple store person said, sometimes we have trouble activating Verizon, just buy the watch from them. And an Apple store employee said that. It was like the Miracle on 34th Street Santa, this girl. I go upstairs, try to buy a watch from, again, the worst Verizon store on earth at Roosevelt Field Mall. I want to keep looking at camera in case you edit that. The worst Verizon store on earth, the Roosevelt Field Mall. There was a second guy who was nice, who just said, yeah, we're out of stock on that, sir. And then I'm like, well, and I'm mad at this point. I'm a little riled up because I'm expecting this call to come in. And I go, where's there another Verizon store? And he says, 880 Old Country Road, and specifically said Westbury. Turns out, Old Country Road resets its addresses every town. So I'm now, and by no means is this a rough neighborhood, but I was the only white guy. I looked like out-of-place white guy. And finally I go into the pizza place and I'm like, where's the Verizon store? Is it in the back? And they're like, ha ha ha, you silly man. You mean you have to go to the one in Carl Place. The kid, the nice guy at the worst Verizon store said, go to the wrong town. And here's what drives me crazy. I'm like, can't you just call them? No, they don't have phones. You can't call the phone company. People. Verizon, you can't call the phone company. The phone store doesn't have a phone number. Is this lost on anybody? That's my rant.
Sounds typical Verizon.
Okay. So,
Like,
yeah.
my story's similar to yours. Won't go into all the details, but
you
it
get
took me
customer
a
service from
week to
AT&T?
do, and finally, somebody in the Apple store by your house finally was able to help me. One person out of probably 20 that I talked to on Verizon side, and I don't have Verizon.
Yeah.
It was a Verizon problem on my phone that's on AT&T service.
And that's why I'm afraid to switch. And you know what's funny? Here's my thing with Verizon now. Verizon is like the boyfriend in a Lifetime movie, the toxic boyfriend in a Lifetime movie who is abusive and mean and hurts me. But I'm afraid to break up because I'm afraid that toxic boyfriend will murder me.
No, break up.
Like, I have a conspiracy theory because I've been complaining about Verizon online. They've been throttling my data. They know. Like, they know. Like,
Break
they're listening.
up. I don't even care if you get bad service by your mom's house. Switch. Fuck Verizon. I'll say it again.
So,
don't beat that.
well, I'm going to trick you into editing this show. All right. Steve, we got an hour to fool around. What are we going to do with it?
I don't know.
We're at the mall. Do we want to just do a tour of the mall?
We could do a tour of the mall.
Okay, yeah, let's do a tour of the mall, and then something better will come out of that. All right, folks, so listen. This is just a screw-around show. I'll be up in Maine soon if I'm not already in Maine. Thank you for all the love you guys show me. And that's the podcast, people. Show love where love can be shown. Leave a comment where you can leave a comment. Share some of my other work with more famous people. Good things have been happening. We've had 2 pieces there on ABC News that have started with this relationship and this podcast. What else is happening in my life right now? I did a topic train on the Elvis Duran show. If you ever hear me on that show, tell those guys that you like me there. And most importantly, be good to each other. Tell me something great going on in your life in the comments. And until next time, good night, Carl Place or Westbury.
And real fruit bubble tea in
Not
the
bad.
mall. Very good.
Yeah, not very good,
Good
except for the
smoothies.
mess. Except for the plastic cover, I like it.
Well, it was your fault, not the cover's fault.
Bye, people.
Don't blame the tools. Blame the
Nope.
artist.
There you go.